come what may, I'm headed down the right path. I feel so brave, my head held high and I'm showing class. Dreams ignited, every day I truly give my best. I'm thriving excitedly to be the very best version of myself. I'm so bold and I'm so brilliant. I feel amazing, I feel so resilient. I'm so bold and I'm so brilliant. I feel so amazing, I feel so resilient.
Get to know James Parker. He's the outstanding CEO and founder of 1921 Co-working and Incubator in Chicago.
Today.
Okay.
Alrighty. So James Parker, CEO and founder of 1921 Co-working and Incubator in Chicago. Welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm pumped up, excited. Thank you very much.
As you should be. So let's talk about your business, 1921 Co-working and Incubator. Tell me what or who inspired you to launch your business.
Absolutely. So I think what inspired me the most was the fact that when you look at the landscape of tech startups, African-American and women-owned startups, well, let me rephrase that, minority and women-owned startups are the least to be funded, to be launched, and there's some incredible ideas. And there's a lot of factors out there for that. So instead of focusing on the issues of why not, I decided to focus on how can we, right? How can we create a space where we can change that dynamic, but as an incubator, launch more minority and women-owned startups. So that was really my impetus for doing it, because I just wanted to make sure that, everyone has the ability, but not everyone has the opportunity. And so with 1921, we're able to create more opportunities.
Fantastic. I love that you have chosen to do that. It's like your gift to the community, your gift to the world. So tell me about the name.
I'll take that.
Tell me about the name of the business.
Yeah, so the name of the business is named after Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so what a lot of people don't know is that a little over 100 years ago, the Black Wall Street was literally, it was called the Black Wall Street Massacre. I mean, where buildings were destroyed, people were killed, all because they created this dynamic of being able to take care of themselves, right? And so you have people who were jealous and people who were envious and looking for a reason to destroy something. But what a lot of people don't know, and this is all thanks to a nonprofit down there called the Victory of Greenwood that I got a chance to really meet with and partner with and learn more about, is that after that happened, literally Black-owned businesses opened right back up. They were resilient. They were not going to be deterred. They were not going to be stopped. And that's really what 1921 is focusing on, the resilience. The fact that, hey, listen, if there's an opportunity, we can create it and we're going to move forward with it. And so that's really what it's named to honor.
Beautiful message, beautiful story. I mean, to take something that's so tragic, and an unfortunate part of our Black history and pay it
American history.
Part of American, right? American history and move it forward in a positive way. I think is tremendous. So tell me, how does your business serve the community specifically?
Exactly. Well, there's several ways. One of the things that we're going to be doing is with 1921 is we're launching tech startups in the community, right? And so typically what happens is, and this is Silicon Valley, Chicago, a lot of startups launch downtown, which is awesome. Hey, I'm not mad at it. But what happens is that those areas downtown begin to grow, right? Jobs, and then restaurants come, and then stores come, and all these things come. And so I said, well, wow, what would happen if we launched tech startups in the community, in low-income and emerging communities? Well, guess what? The jobs stay there, right? The people now don't try to make it out of a community. They want to stay there, because that's where that job is. That job is in their community where they were born and raised. And so it benefits the community in these ways. We launch tech startups in low-income and emerging communities. The jobs stay in those low income and emerging communities. We then train the people in the community how to work at those jobs. So help desk, tech support, cybersecurity. Right now, I think it was like 2 million cybersecurity jobs open right now. We're about to add more, but they're going to be filled because we're going to train the people to work at these tech startups. So therefore, the community can move forward, Chundria, in 1 to 2 years instead of decades like it's been. The other way it benefits the community is that 1921 is the first tech and manufacturing incubator that allows the everyday individual to become a stakeholder in these tech startups. So what happens when that happens? Well, as a stakeholder, you now have equity in the startup, which means you get a chance to share in the revenue of the startups that are benefiting your community.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. And I see the response has been really great since you've launched the business. What type of feedback have you gotten thus far?
So far, we've gotten nothing but great things. I've been on WGN News talking about it, and now I'm on the Chundria show talking about it, and so the feedback has been great. The individuals who've been able to become stakeholders, they're encouraged because now they're able to create true generational wealth by being a part of not only 1921, but also being a part of the community. My new mantra is a rising tide lifts all boats. And 1921 is trying to be and will be that rising tide that lifts all boats in relation to the community. And I think with our stakeholder opportunity, it kind of helps our community understand that, listen, you can't just stay in one place, right? You've got to do more. You have the opportunity to do more. You have, and investing is probably one of the biggest ways. I've been doing a lot of financial research, and I know we can't go into all of this, but let's just say that Harvard Business School published an article about this, and that alternative investments, the biggest one of alternative investments is private equity, and that's where you get equity in companies before they launch or go public. That is the fastest growing trend right now. It's expected to grow to $14 trillion in assets under management. So you've got crypto, you've got all this. We can no longer in our community be, I don't know, I don't understand, and don't do anything, while others are doing it and creating a greater wealth gap. We can close that wealth gap by providing the opportunity for the community and individuals from the community to be able to take part in that.
I think it's really awesome. I mean, I wonder about the opera, because you're creating wealth, you're building investments. I mean, it's beneficial to everyone involved. Sure. The person that's getting the training, the person that's doing the training, the community thrives, money stays in the community. Does it have any impact in any way on the youth in the community?
Absolutely. And here's probably one of the best things. After my interview on TV, I got reached out to by the Common Ground Foundation. That's Common, the rapper Common's group. And they were like, hey, listen, we just saw you, and will there be any internship opportunities for the youth? And I was like, absolutely, because here's what happens when you launch a tech startup in the community. Those internships to work, those opportunities for the youth to work in a tech company where everything is moving now, tech and manufacturing, the skill set, the professionalism, learning what it's like to work in an office, learning what it's like to be on the cutting edge of something new that everyone around the world will be using it's invaluable, right? And so for our youth to be able to say, I'm interning at a company called Table, or I'm interning at a company called Consummate Home, or I'm interning in their own community, speaks volumes. And not just a free internship. No, we're going to pay these kids. So now they're going to recognize, you know what, I'm not going to go out and do anything stupid. I have an opportunity to possibly work at this tech startup when I finish college, or when I finish or get my associate's degree, or whatever. Once I get my certification, I don't want to mess that up. I don't want to do anything that's going to give me a background now that may prevent me from working at one of these companies. So when they have the opportunity, their whole perspective changes.
This business model is really stupendous because it helps everyone thrive. I mean, and I'm so happy that youth are also impacted in a really positive light, gives them career opportunities, gives them perspective, gives them role models and mentorship, gives them some money in their pocket.
Right.
So everybody,
a lot of money too.
It's literally like everyone's winning. And so it makes me curious about you, because I know you've been an entrepreneur for a really long time. And when you get on something, you will do the research and you will hit the pavement, and you will make sure, that it's of sound mind and well thought out and planned out. So my question for you is, tell me about your relationship with the city of Chicago and why you continue to launch initiatives here.
So I moved to Chicago a few moons ago after graduating high school in Germany. And I just fell in love with the city. It's an incredible city. I think for me, I just saw opportunities that other people haven't. I've had many people who are from here that are friends that are like, you know, it's going to take somebody who's not even from Chicago to move Chicago forward, you know, and but I think that's what happens when you bring in eyes or experiences that are looking at it from a different angle. And I just love the city. I believe that Chicago will be the first city that we launch this business model in. And then it will allow me to launch this business model in other cities. I've had mayors from other cities come up to visit, to look at the business model, to take it back, to implement in their own cities, because it works. I'm not no, this is all mine. Listen, the more people who are able to move communities forward, the better. And so that's why Chicago, I just love it. You know, and I'm happy to be here.
Wow, great things are continually happening. You have mayors reaching out, the Common Ground Foundation, like all of these amazing things are happening. I couldn't be happier for you. So what's in store for the rest of the year and beyond for 1921?
Sure. So right now we have 10 startups in our pipeline. Their projected revenues are going to hit about $1.2 billion. And that means we'll create roughly 2,500 jobs, starting at 55,000 a year, all the way up to, if they get their cybersecurity certification, all the way up to over 110,000. So in addition, our stakeholders will get a nice return on their investment from these startups. And then our goal over the next 10 years is to launch more than 350 startups, not just in Chicago, but all over the city, all over the country. Right now, we're developing spots to launch in Haiti, because we believe that we can move this business model to third world countries and then create incredible paying jobs and move these countries forward simply by launching startups. The beauty of technology is you can launch a startup anywhere, right? You can launch it anywhere. And so with that mindset, if we launch in Haiti, what Haiti will look like in 5 years, right? If we launch in, I mean, I had the opportunity to be reached out to by some city officials in Tulsa, which is based off 1921. So to be able to come full circle, and I was down there last year twice, spotting out areas and meeting with one of the city officials of where we can open 1921. So, you know, this year, the rest of the year will be phenomenal, but the next 10 years will be life-changing for the community.
James Parker, you are a true visionary. I've known you for a long time, and it's awesome to just watch you continually grow. You get these amazing, grandiose, impactful ideas that keep you up at night, and then you bring them out, full circle. You bring them to life. They come from idea to full life and impact not only yourself, but other people in a major way. So congrats to you on the success of 1921.
Thank you.
And just before we go, I have a few lightning questions for you.
Sure. Okay.
First one, who's the smartest person you know?
It's actually two people, my mom and dad.
Okay. And why mom and dad?
They instilled so much into me and my brothers, and on just business. My dad used to say, you are where you are based on the decisions you make. And that allowed me to grow up never blaming anyone else for where I'm at in my life. And so I take that, I share that with my daughter and my two sons, and I share that with young people that I speak with.
Awesome. Question number 2. What was your very first job?
All right. So my very first job was a summer job in Germany, working on the base as an office assistant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 15 or 16. I can't remember.
Office assistant to CEO. Okay.
I know, right?
Last one. No, third one. How would you spend $1 million?
Chances are I'd spend it helping minority and women-owned startups get launched, because I know that $1 million will create more jobs in the community. And if I get a little equity in those companies, I'll make even more money. So, and then just wash, rinse, and repeat.
Fantastic. Last question. How do you unplug when it's time to rest and relax?
Yeah, what is that? Wow, that's the one that's got me stupid. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I I mean, I go out of town, you know, and wow, I don't know.
I know you're a family man. I know you spend a lot of time with your wife and your children. So I guess I would say for you, you spend time with your family when you're
I do,
working.
yeah.
Okay.
And even then, my mind is still racing. The one thing is, I'm not allowed to bring my laptop on vacation, so you know.
I think that's for your protection too, right?
It is for my
protect
protection.
you from yourself.
I know. So that's probably it. Thank you, but I don't have any one thing that I do, and I probably need to work on that. So I appreciate the mini challenge there. So
there you go. All right, James Parker, thank you so much for being my special guest right here on the Chundria Show.
Get to know Ella Destiny. She's an amazing fibroid fighter, life coach, and author.
Ella Destiny, welcome to the Chundria Show. How are you today?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Fantastic. Let's dive on in. As we know, it's May, it's Mother's Day, it's springtime. So much is going on, and we're celebrating moms all year long. What is your favorite part about being a mother?
Nothing. God, send those kids back. No, man.
Return.
My favorite part is when my children look at me and, you know, they tell me, we see you, we appreciate you. Thank you for going through all of the things that you went through and still were able to raise us, because I was a single mom. And so, you know, just being there and still pushing no matter what. So that is the greatest reward in the world, just knowing that, you know, my kids see me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Tell me about your babies. How old are they?
Well, the youngest is
seeing you. How are the babies that are seeing you?
My youngest is 22 and my oldest will be 26 this year. Oh, yeah, and then I have 3 grandchildren. Yeah.
Okay, mama. Okay, mama. Get it, mama. All right, let's talk about this. So as an inspirational coach with your own victorious battles with fibroids, how do you encourage fearless women in their fight against fibroids? How do you encourage?
Well, not just in their fight against fibroids, but just a fight in life. I wrote a book and it's called "There's Nothing Wrong with Saying So What." And in that book, I refer to different Bible verses, and I tell people, you know, even though you've gone through things, so what? It happened in the Bible. There's nothing new under the sun. And if it could happen to those people, it could happen to us. And, you know, I tell people not to say, why me, but why not me? Who am I that I couldn't go through those things? Look at Job and what he went through. Look at the woman with the issue of blood. So why didn't I go through those things? Or who am I to not go through them? And so, you know, I just encourage people that, you know, you can get through this. There's a God in heaven, you can get through it. And so a lot of times it's not what happened to me, but what happened for me. And because the things that did happen for me, I'm able to sit here and advocate and help women and, you know, coach them through life and the things that they go through because I've gone through it.
That's beautiful. It's really beautiful how you advocate for other women. I mean, life is hard enough sometimes, and you're just trying to get it right, trying to make the best decisions for yourself and your family, you know, but to wake up and be selfless and to think about others and how you could help them live, you know, fulfilled, happier, healthier lives is just really admirable to me. So thank you for what you do for others.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about how common fibroids are, because some people may not know what fibroids are and how common they are. Can you break it down for us today?
Well, fibroids are really, really common, mostly in African-American women. Probably 80% of women, we suffer with fibroids and we don't know. Because it's something that we never talked about. In my family, when I was younger, we never talked about fibroids. We barely talked about cycles because it was taboo or it was nasty or, you know, I don't want to talk about that. But, you know, it's time to start having the conversations because they are common. You know, when women think that they're having heavy cycles or they're bleeding for 10 days or longer, or they're always tired or, you know, painful sex, we think that that's normal and it's not normal. And so when we're going through those types of signs and symptoms, we need to get checked because more than likely we have fibroids. And it doesn't have to be that they're large fibroids. They're different sizes. They could be inside of our uterus or on the outside. And so we really have to educate ourselves and know what's going on with our bodies and not just saying it's normal.
And so what is a fibroid? Can you
fibroid is non-cancer. It's a non-cancerous tumor that sits either, like I said, on the inside or the outside of your uterus. They vary in sizes. They could be the size of a watermelon. They could be the size of a grape, just different sizes. And they just cause like a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, a lot of bleeding, all of those things. So, but they're definitely non-cancerous and they can be treated.
Okay. And so those are like the telltale signs of that something might be wrong. It might be a fibroid. It might be, you said the size of a grapefruit, the size of a grape. I mean, it varies. And so I suffer from fibroids myself. And my early signs were pain, you know, aside from my menstrual cycle, which wasn't normal. Never experienced pain, you know, aside from that week. And that's when I immediately went to go get checked up and found out. And so I'm just glad that you know, brought insight to that. Just for anyone who may be watching who might have experienced that pain, you might attribute it to ovulation or, you know, cycle, or, you know, I experienced a lot of abdominal pain, especially on the left side. And, you know, and so just knowing that your body will tell you when something's wrong, and just, you know, listening for sure. So you talked to me about those early signs. Tell me about your own traumatic experience that led to your advocacy today.
So when I was diagnosed with fibroids, they told me that I needed to have a hysterectomy. They didn't tell me that there were other options. It was just, you need to have a hysterectomy because, you know, this is just what it is. And, you know, back then I didn't know what it was. I didn't have the information that I have now. And so I went with the hysterectomy. And when they did the hysterectomy, they severed my intestines. And for 18 months, I had no idea. And so I wasn't having a normal bowel movement. I thought I was just constipated because, you know, along with the fibroids, you get low iron. So they had me on iron pills. Iron pills make you constipated. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm just not having a regular bowel movement, until one day I went to the emergency room and I vomited all over the emergency room floor. And the doctors and nurses were like, listen, you got to have surgery within the next 30 minutes or you're not going to make it. And what I found out then was that I was vomiting my bowels, and I ended up on life support for a week. So, and it just, you know, it went from there. They tried to fix it. They put a piece of mesh in my stomach to kind of fix the hole. The ring broke. It damaged my liver, my kidney. I ended up having 11 abdominal surgeries, a week on life support. I don't have a navel anymore. And I have a scar from hip to hip, like someone sawed me in half. So it was really traumatic. I went through a lot, all because of fibroids and because I didn't have the information that I have now. And I didn't know that I had options.
Beautiful.
That's who I'm being on.
Ella Destiny, you are absolutely an inspiration. You are absolutely incredible. And you are absolutely a fighter in every way possible. Thank you so much for your gift to the world.
Get to know Ronke Majekodunmi. She's an incredible senior product manager at PayPal.
Wow, let's dive on in. Ronke Majekodunmi, welcome to the Chundria show. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, you are great. You're doing amazing things. We're going to go ahead and chat about that today. Now, you have an affinity for helping other minority women get into product management. Tell me more about that and why.
So the reason is because in the last year, so when we started going through the pandemic in 2020, I sort of focused on just finishing my MBA, which was great. I did that. And then by fall, I was like, okay, I have all this time in my hands. What am I going to do? So then I did a product talk for product school. And then I wrote a blog. And then I started hearing from a lot of women of color on LinkedIn, right? And they would message me and they would go, wait, you look like me and you're in product. How is that even a thing? And that was just the thing. I didn't think it was a big deal that I was a woman of color in product. To me, it was just a normal thing. But I kept getting these messages and I thought, oh, well, this is wrong. I want women of color to know if I can be here, you can be here, right? And so that's when I sort of started this journey of creating my website, writing like personal blogs about imposter syndrome to let women of color know, you know what, it's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay to feel that anxiety when you first start as a product manager, because I kind of feel like imposter syndrome with a product manager role is sort of like it's more pronounced for me anyway. That was my experience, and here's how I got through it. And that's why I do a lot of what I do. I do a lot of product talks. I do even my own podcast. Is I just want a lot of women of color, aspiring product managers, or even like recent college grads who are thinking about coming into this field to see me take what I've done and just take it, run with it, and make it even better, and pave the way for the next generation of women of color to come. So that's why I've been doing a lot of my stuff, a lot of my talks and stuff. So.
Oh, you have such a beautiful spirit. I mean, because it's one thing to climb the ladder on your own, to create your own opportunities, but it's another to want to help someone else, get into a really great field. PayPal is such a universally recognizable company, so how does that feel working, in this way for such a popular corporation?
So I've been lucky that that I found PayPal when I did. They've been supportive of everything that I've been doing, not just within but outside as well, to help bring more minorities in, especially into product management. And also the other thing is I teach a product school. So I'm also teaching the next generation of product managers on how to lead and again, be, that human job, and that and how to think about your customers and empathize with them, and also how to empathize with your own team as well. So they've been really supportive, and that's why I'm able to do a lot of what I'm doing right now. So I couldn't even ask for a better organization to work for. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Is it really challenging to get into the industry, in your opinion?
So I get a lot of questions like that from aspiring product managers. I don't think it is, right? And here's the reason why. Well, I think it's getting better. Let's put it that way. So when I first started, no one looked like me. Right? I didn't have anybody that looked like me that I could go to in my job as a product manager to say, hey, what is your experience like? Right? So, but I will say this, I had mentors. I had 4 incredible women who just mentored me and they gave me advice even when I didn't want it. So that's why I'm here today. And I'm, again, trying to pass it on to other people. So I would say this, I've been looking at job resumes recently and I don't see MBA required anymore, right? Because that used to be the thing used to have MBA required, used to have, you must be technical. And what happens is you have a pool of candidates, especially from marginalized communities, who don't apply for those jobs anymore. But I'm noticing there's a change in that. And also the other thing is, there's a program at the University of Washington, which focuses on marginalized communities and helping these students find jobs in product management, and we help them, with interviews and stuff. I on Tuesdays I help them get through the interview questions. So I don't think it is. I think there's a ton of resources out there. I mean, listen, for those listening to this, if you have any questions, please find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. I'm happy to direct you to a lot of resources out there. There are other folks that are doing what I'm doing that are visible in the product management space. All you have to do is just sync up with any one of us and we'll help you get through it. But it's not that hard anymore.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, I heard something pivotal you said was get a mentor. You had a mentor, yes. And now you're working to mentor others. And I believe that beautiful part is what, pays it forward. It makes the world go round, and it promotes change as well when you're willing to help the next person. And then they help the next person, get better. And you will see more people of color in positions comparable to this.
Come with me. I'm headed down the right path. I feel so brave. My head held high and I'm showing class. Dreams ignited. Every day I truly give my best. I'm thriving excitedly to be the very best version of myself. I'm so bold.